What if the secret to the most talked about marriage in Hollywood was something so simple? Most couples never even think about it. Mark Consuelos just opened up in a way fans have never quite heard before. And the moment he said it on national television, no less, the internet stopped scrolling. This is the story of Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. 30 years, 3 kids, one wildly entertaining morning show, and a love story that somehow just keeps getting stronger. Welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is your home for the best in celebrity news, pop culture updates, and Hollywood stories worth talking about. Today, we're diving into one of entertainment's most enduring and beloved couples, and trust me, this one is worth your full attention. Because in a world where celebrity relationships seem to crumble faster than award show ratings, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have quietly built something that feels almost impossible in Hollywood, a real, lasting, deeply human partnership. And now, after 3 decades together, Mark is finally peeling back the curtain, sharing the philosophy, the mindset, and the surprisingly relatable wisdom behind what makes it all work. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's get into it. For anyone who needs a quick refresher, though honestly, if you've watched daytime television at any point in the last 30 years, you probably don't. Kelly Ripa is one of the most recognized faces in American entertainment. She first burst onto the scene as Haley Santos on the beloved soap opera All My Children back in 1990. That role alone would have been enough to cement her place in TV history. But Kelly had bigger plans. She transitioned into daytime talk, joining Regis Philbin as co-host of what was then called Live with Regis and Kelly, and the rest, as they say, is television history. Today, she co-hosts Live with Kelly and Mark alongside her husband, and the show remains one of the most watched morning programs in America. Fans tune in not just for the celebrity interviews or the lively pop culture conversations, they tune in for Kelly and Mark themselves. Their banter, their chemistry, the way they seem to genuinely enjoy being around each other, even after all this time. And Mark? He's had his own remarkable career. Best known for playing Hiram Lodge on Riverdale, he's a seasoned actor with decades of credits. But it's his role as Kelly's husband and now her co-host that has turned him into a fan favorite in a whole new way. Together, they are a genuine Hollywood institution. But here's where things get really interesting. During a recent appearance, and keep in mind, this is a couple who is literally on television together almost every morning, Mark made a comment that felt different. More personal, more raw. He was speaking candidly about their relationship, and instead of giving the kind of polished, rehearsed answer you might expect from a Hollywood star, he went somewhere surprisingly genuine. He talked about the importance of still choosing each other, not just loving each other passively, the way you might love a habit or a comfort, but actively, consciously deciding every single day that this is the person you want to be with. He described their relationship not as something that simply survived the pressures of fame and family, but as something that required constant, intentional effort, a daily recommitment to each other and to the life they've built. And then he said something that really hit home. He talked about how they never stopped dating each other. Even after the rings, the kids, the mortgages, and the morning show call times, they still make time for each other as a couple. Not as co-hosts, not as parents, but as 2 people who are genuinely in love. Fans immediately started reacting. Social media lit up almost instantly. Comments flooded in from people who said it felt like exactly the relationship advice they needed to hear. Not from a therapist or a self-help book, but from a real couple on a real morning, speaking from real experience. And that's part of what makes Kelly and Mark so uniquely powerful in the celebrity landscape right now. In an era dominated by influencer relationships that feel carefully curated for content, and celebrity couples who seem to exist primarily for the headlines, Kelly and Mark are something refreshingly different. They argue on air sometimes. They tease each other relentlessly. Mark is famously competitive. Kelly is wickedly funny. And neither of them pretends that 30 years of marriage has been all sunshine and perfectly coordinated outfits. That honesty resonates deeply with their audience. When Mark opened up about the secret to their longevity, fans didn't just appreciate it, they shared it. Screenshots, clips, comment threads. People tagged their partners. They sent the video to group chats. They wrote things like, "This is exactly what I needed to hear today," and "Okay, but why did this make me emotional?" Entertainment media picked it up quickly, too. Celebrity news outlets covered it as a genuine feel-good story, which, in today's media climate, is actually saying a lot. In a news cycle that often thrives on drama and conflict, a story about two people quietly, stubbornly choosing each other for 30 years? That cuts through. But there's something deeper here that's worth exploring. Kelly and Mark met in 1995 on the set of All My Children. They eloped in Las Vegas in 1996, just 1 year after meeting. They were young. They were in love. And by every logical measure, the odds were against them. They were navigating the relentless pace of the entertainment industry. They were building careers simultaneously. They were raising 3 children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, while maintaining the kind of public visibility that would test even the strongest relationships. And yet, here they are, 30 years later, sitting next to each other every morning, laughing about the same little things they probably laughed about in 1996, still finishing each other's sentences, still clearly, unmistakably in each other's corner. There's something almost cinematic about it. In a genre, Hollywood marriage, that is practically defined by its tragedies, Kelly and Mark feel like a quiet, ongoing triumph. And the fact that Mark is willing to talk about it openly, to acknowledge that it's not magic, that it's work, that it requires showing up for each other even when things aren't perfect, makes it feel all the more real. That's not a fairy tale. That's a love story for grown-ups. And audiences are connecting with it in a profound way. It's also worth talking about what this means for Live with Kelly and Mark as a show, because that context matters. When Mark stepped in as permanent co-host in 2023, there were questions. Could he fill the very large shoes left by Ryan Seacrest's departure? Would audiences warm to him the way they had to previous co-hosts? Would it feel too insular, too much like a married couple's inside joke playing out on national television? But something surprising happened instead. The dynamic between Kelly and Mark brought a new energy to the show. It was more personal, more unfiltered, more fun. Their decades of shared history gave them a comfort level on camera that simply cannot be manufactured or rehearsed. And the ratings reflected that. Audiences showed up. Not just longtime fans of the show, but new viewers, people who were drawn in by the novelty of watching a real married couple navigate the morning television format together. People who found it charming and genuine, and yes, sometimes hilariously awkward in all the right ways. Live with Kelly and Mark has become, in its own way, a kind of real-time love story. Every episode is another chapter. Every conversation, another data point in a marriage that has somehow thrived under the most unusual circumstances imaginable. And when Mark shares something like the secret behind their 30-year bond, even in the middle of a morning show segment, it lands differently than it would coming from anyone else. Because viewers have watched them. They've seen the chemistry. They've witnessed the small moments of kindness and the playful jabs and the genuine admiration underneath it all. The credibility is built in. The trust is already there. Here's what I think makes this story worth telling, beyond the celebrity gossip, beyond the entertainment headlines. In a culture that often treats relationships as disposable, and in an industry that has made skepticism about love almost fashionable, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos represent something quietly radical. They chose each other fast, and then they chose each other slowly. Every day, for 30 years, they built a life that is messy and public and imperfect and somehow profoundly beautiful. They put that life on television every morning, and they've let audiences be a part of it. And in return, those audiences have invested in them in a way that goes beyond fandom. Mark's words about what keeps a marriage alive, the intentionality, the romance, the daily decision to show up for each other, aren't just good celebrity content. They're good advice, the kind of thing that makes people pause, look at their own lives, and think about what they're choosing. And that's rare. In entertainment news, that is genuinely rare. Whatever the next chapter holds for Kelly and Mark. More seasons of Live with Kelly and Mark, more milestones, more of those wonderfully candid moments. One thing seems clear. This particular Hollywood love story isn't finished yet. Not even close. So what do you think? Is their approach to marriage something you can see working in real life? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and I'd love to know what you think. And if you enjoyed this celebrity update, subscribe for more entertainment news and Hollywood stories. New videos drop every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Mark Consuelos is opening up about the secret behind his 30-year marriage to Kelly Ripa, and fans absolutely cannot stop talking about it. In this video, we dive deep into the love story of one of Hollywood's most beloved couples, exploring how Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have maintained their incredible bond through decades in the spotlight, 3 children, and now a shared morning show on Live with Kelly and Mark. From their surprising beginning on the set of All My Children to their current run as the most talked about duo in daytime television. This is the full story of a Hollywood couple who somehow made it all work. Mark's recent candid comments about what truly keeps a marriage strong have gone viral, and in this video we break down exactly what he said, why it resonated so deeply with fans, and what it tells us about the real secret behind their extraordinary relationship. Whether you're a longtime fan of Kelly and Mark or just discovering their story, this celebrity update is one you won't want to miss.